Hey guys, welcome back today. It's Seth, the Burn Hook Bar and Grill. I went ahead and got started. Today we're making sausage dip. Super Bowl's just around the corner, so I figured, what the hey, let's have us some snacks. Just remember, I'm a regular dude who likes to cook food. In the skillet, I have 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage and a half a pound of chorizo. I typically don't use chorizo, but I happen to have it, and I figured I'm going to use it and get rid of it, get it used up. So we're going to try to get this, a little bit of a tedious process to get all the sausage broke up, but it's not too bad. So we're going to keep that going. Ingredients. I go back to my trinity of sweet peppers, onion, and garlic. On the onion and the sweet peppers, I said you've got about a cup of each, and the garlic will be 2 tablespoons. And today I'm going to use Hoffman's. This is a super hot pepper, is what they call it. It's cheese that's fermented with jalapenos in it. I would use Velveeta. Yes, we're in America and we're Americans. We eat Velveeta. And a rule of thumb I have is per 1 pound of sausage, you do a third of a block of Velveeta. And it comes out pretty good that way. Today's recipe is kind of off the charts because, one, I have the chorizo in here, so I have 1.5 pounds of sausage. And I'm going to use a different cheese that the neighbor dropped off for me. So we're going to give it a whirl and see how it comes out. Like I said, we got to get her. We want that sausage about as fine as we can get. You can leave her a little chunkier, but that's just a matter of personal preference. If I reach in with my chip, I want sausage on every bite that I take. And again, for this recipe, you don't need to use the chorizo. I just happen to have it and I wanted to get it used up. Our cheese, we'll just chunk that up. It actually will work better if you had a skillet with a lid to it. This does not, but we'll make it work. I'll just put it in the small chunks, and we'll just litter that across there when we get ready to put the cheese in. Now, I won't season anything until after I have my sausage done, because depending on how greasy this turns out, a lot of times I just leave the grease in it and leave it that way. But if you got a really greasy sausage, you may want to drain some of that off there. And I don't want to put my seasoning in there until I know the seasoning is going to stay. If you go draining off your grease, you might lose some of your seasoning. Which the seasoning is rather simple. But chunks like that is sufficient. And sausage is brown, cheese is cut up. Next step, we're going to get our veggies here gathered up. We're going to just toss them right on in. The onions up in there. Starting to smell really good. Put it in there. 2 tablespoons of your garlic. And again, that was a cup of onion and a cup of sweet peppers. You can use bell pepper, whatever you feel you need. Kind of make it your own after a while. Here's the part that would come handy with the lid, because what I typically do is I'll sweat the onions and the vegetables for a little while. Kind of get them translucent. So what I'm going to do for the sake of this, after I get done mixing it in, I get my seasonings in there. I'm gonna put me a piece of foil on there and have it act as a lid for myself. And this sausage here wasn't too much grease, so I didn't drain none of that off. I just went ahead and left it. Alright. Good. Okay. Of course, for seasonings, we do have to go with the old salt and pepper. Give her a little throw in there. I'm actually, since this is a little bit on the spicier side of things, with the cheese and that chorizo, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a little Cajun seasoning too, just for fun. Give that a mix. Fold it all in, get all that seasoning all over that skillet. Looks like a pretty nice taco meat right there, doesn't it? Something else to think about. To get all this done, you can wrap it up in a taco shell and eat like a taco. I prefer the chip and the dip method, but that's just me. Back in there. Get him all mixed up. I'll get my foil on there. And I'll keep it on about medium heat to sweat them onions and them vegetables down. Yeah, to get me a piece of foil, I'm going to use this as my lid. I'll make 2 pieces of foil. Do that. Like I said, I'll give this about probably 10 minutes, and I'll repeat that process again as far as putting the cheese in, putting the lid back on. And you got to kind of check it, keep an eye on it, because, well, one, you don't want your cheese to get overcooked, and you got to constantly fold it in and mix all that well. So here we go. I'm gonna take my makeshift lid off there. My onions are soft. They're about where I want them at. And so when we go to put this cheese on, we're just gonna layer him out periodically across through there. I really don't know how well this particular cheese is going to mix up in here. Velveeta does a real good job, and it gets good and creamy and makes a nice dip. So I'll just do this route here. I'll actually do it in stages. I'll cover this. I'm going to let this go, let that cheese melt, and I'll mix everything in and fold everything in. And kind of keep an eye on it with your temperature, because if that cheese gets on the bottom of your skillet and you don't pay attention, you may run the risk of having a little bit of a fried cheese or a burnt cheese in there. So, other than that, just kind of watch and wait. I'll be back. Back again, guys. Just giving you a quick shot here. I got everything done. Everything's incorporated. I've got it plated up. I'm going to set it back on my tripod, and we're going to go in for a taste test. And I did, on my plate, my bowl here, I did throw a little Parmesan cheese on top of it, just for a reference point. One further point, if your dip seems to be too thick and you want to thin it down, go ahead and throw you a little bit of milk in there. I mean, you can move it to, you can use the same skillet or move it to a separate saucepan. And just put it on low heat and simmer that milk. Throw that sausage dip in there. It'll loosen back up and make it creamier again. Back with it here, you guys. Gonna go in for a taste test. Did some homemade tortilla chips. I'm gonna sit here and dip this in there. I'll make these chips part of another recipe on a different cook. Let's get that up on that bad boy. That is really, really good. That Hoffman's super hot pepper cheese mixed in perfectly. No complaints with that. My only criticism I have of this right here, if I did it again, I would keep the chorizo out of it because the chorizo is almost overpowering, but it is very, very good. I would make it again, but I think for most people they would keep that chorizo out of there. But other than that, give her a try. See what you guys think. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share the videos with your friends and family. Appreciate you tuning in. I hope everybody has a good weekend and a nice Super Bowl. I'll catch you next time.